Hi and welcome to my channel and my new video. And if you are into watch related content, please subscribe. So thank you. Today on a review and how-to tutorial video, I have the trendy and unisex metal version, or rather yet another iteration of the original GA2100, the GM S2100. Unlike other G-Shocks, it's pretty small, meant to suit a woman's hand as well as a man's. I have to say it looks quite good, although dimensions are very unlike what we are used to G-Shock. It's very stylish, especially this one, with gold details and golden bezel. It encapsulates the essence of the new era of G-Shock line, the simple octagonal design, 4 buttons, beautiful and distinctful bezel with watch hands that pop out to ease the time readout. Proof of yet another Casio venture with this G-Shock is its unique buckle. I have to say I have never seen it on a G-Shock. It belongs to much higher price range watches. It kinda suits the watch very nice, and let's be honest, a different type of a buckle just would not belong to this watch. The watch carries the GA2100 key features, and at 9 o'clock we have the weird installation on a dial. It's a place for a mode hand, day of the week hand, but in this case Casio says it represents a soul. Really don't know what it is all about. But if it's some sort of styling, I think it would be much better without it. Let's move on to the functions and features part of the video. This watch is equipped with world time function, stopwatch, countdown timer and the alarm mode. The world time lets you see the different time in the 48 cities around the world. The stopwatch has the measuring capacity of 1/100th of a second of a units. Countdown timer is basic. And alarm, well, we all know what the alarm is all about. When it comes to modes or shuffling between the watch modes, it's done by pressing the mode hand over here. So pressing the mode hand, you shuffle between the world time, stopwatch, countdown timer, and the alarms on this watch. Higher pitch of the sound gets us back to the standard timekeeping mode. Now, I have previously in my videos said that I do have some regards regarding the negative display. Casio tends to continually put these on the market. Well, I guess they are stylish, but they are very hard to read. So I try to avoid it when I buy my watch, but well, it's just the trend, and the Casio will, I believe, continue to put them on the newer watches. But I have to say the visibility and the readout is very poor. Now, this watch is also equipped with a cool feature, and that is the hands out of the way. That is done by pressing the upper right button, and then while holding it, press the mode button over here. What it does? Well, it moves the hands out of the way, so you have better access to your digital screen. Once you press the mode button, it goes back to the standard timekeeping mode, or showing your time. This watch has the double illumination. Well, when I say it, I mean that the digital screen over here has the backlight, and the analog display or the analog hands have the LED illumination. So here it is in the how it looks on the light, and here it is how it looks when I turn off the lights. As you can see, the illumination is quite good. This time you have the better illumination of the digital screen. How to set the time and date and other functions on the watch. Let me zoom in this digital part of the dial so you have a better access and you can see it. As I've said previously, it has the downside of the negative display's readability. So let's get started. From the standard timekeeping mode, press and hold the upper left button, that's the adjust button, until you hear the beep. And there it is. Hands are moving out of the way, so you have easier access to the digital screen. As you can see, it says Tokyo over here. Now, first in a row of settings is setting our home city. To shuffle your home city, press the upper button or the lower button. One of the 48 cities is corresponding to your time zone. The city that corresponds to my time zone is the Paris time zone. So I'm gonna press one of those two buttons until I get to Paris time zone. In this case, I press this button, but you can do it with this button too. Now, once we have set our home city, press the mode hand, and we are in the position of setting our summer time over here. As you can see, it says it's off. I can shuffle it between on or off by pressing this button over here. So when I press the button, it shuffles between on or off. And currently in my time zone, the DST is turned on, so I'm gonna leave it at on. Once I'm done with that, I'm gonna press the mode button once again, and we are in the position of setting our time format, or 12 or 24-hour timekeeping. When I press this button over here, I'm shuffling between 24 and 12-hour time format. I'm gonna leave it at 24-hour time format. Next up, press the mode button, that's this button over here, and we move on to setting our seconds value. Now, as you can see, the seconds are blinking over here, and we cannot set the exact value of seconds, but what we can do is reset that value by simply pressing this button over here, and it will reset the seconds to 0. Once we are done with that, we press the mode button once again, and we are in the position of setting our hour value. As you can see, it's flashing 23, indicating that it's 23 o'clock and it's correct. But if I want to change it, I'm gonna press this button over here or this button over here. So upper to decrease the value or lower to increase the value. Once I've set my hour value, I'm gonna press the mode button once again, and we move on to setting our minutes. As you can see, the minutes are flashing, and we are in the position of setting our minutes value. Pressing the upper button or lower button will decrease or increase the value of seconds. The minutes value. Next up, press the mode button, and we are in the position of setting our year value. As you can see, it's flashing 2022, that's the current year, but I can decrease the value by pressing the upper right button or lower right button until I get to the year that is correct. Now, once we have set our year value, I'm gonna press the mode button, and we are moving on to setting our month value. As you can see, it's flashing number 10, and 10 indicating the October. Pressing the upper button decreases, and the lower button increases the value of month. Once we set the month value, we push the mode button once again, and we move on to setting our button operation to is it enabled or disabled. When it says key, it's enabled. Pressing the lower right button, it is muted. So shuffling between, this button shuffles between on or off basically. I'm gonna leave it at on, and I'm gonna press the mode button once again, and we are in the position of setting our illumination duration. As you can see, it's blinking number 1 over here, below the light over here, we have the number 1. By pressing the lower right button, I'm shuffling between 1 and 3. When it says 1, it indicates that when I press the illumination button, the light on the screen will stay lit on for 1.5 seconds. When it says 3, when I press the illumination button, it will stay on for 3 seconds. So shuffling between 1 and 3 is done by this button, and basically you are determining how much the light will stay on once you press the illumination button. Once you've said that, press the mode button once again, and we are in the position of setting our home city again. So basically we have ran through the cycle of settings on our watch. To implement those settings, simply press the upper left button, and the watch will implement those settings, and our analog time should correspond to the digital time over here. So it says it's 23 o'clock and 4 minutes and 29 seconds. As I've said previously, the world time lets you see the time in one of the 48 cities around the world. So let's enter the world time, and that is done by pressing the mode button once from the standard timekeeping mode, and we are in our world time mode. You briefly saw the UTC written in this upper part of the digital display, and that is our, let's call it secondary time zone, or our world time zone. By pressing this button over here, I'm shuffling between our cities around the world or another time zone. So let's say I want to see what's the time in, let's see, Kabul, Delhi. Let's find some city. Here you go. It's a Singapore time. It will say the Singapore briefly, and then it will show the time. Let's see. It's 5 o'clock and 6 minutes in the morning. Now, when I press the upper left button, it will again briefly show what is my time zone. When I press and hold this button until I hear the beep, it will change between DST on or off. So basically now I have turned my DST off, and the time should change on this part of the screen. So it says 6 hours and 7 minutes. When I press and hold it again until I hear the beep, I will see that the Singapore time has changed. Basically now, based on my, let's call it knowledge, I'm turning off the DST, and the change is eminent on the screen over here. So those are the basics of our world time mode on this watch. Using the alarm mode on this watch has the 5 alarms and the hourly time signal. First of all, let's enter the alarm mode. That is done from the standard timekeeping mode by pressing the mode button once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, and we are in the alarm mode. As you can see, briefly it was shown alarm number 5. By pressing this button over here, I can shuffle between the alarms. So you have alarm number 1, 2 to 5, and hourly time signal. We'll leave it at alarm number 1. Whilst we are on the alarm number 1, as we can see, it's set to midnight exactly. To turn it on, simply press the, let me move this over here, simply press the upper left button once, and it will turn on the alarm. And as you can see, it says it's on. When I press the same button once again, it will turn it off. So using this button, I'm turning it on or off, each individual alarm. We are still at the alarm number 1. When I press and hold this button, you'll hear the beep, and there it is. We see the hours flashing, which means that we are in the position of setting our alarm value. By pressing this button or this button over here, I can shuffle the alarm value. Let's say I want to leave it at 12 o'clock. Now, once we've set our hour value, I'm going to press the mode button, and the flashing continues to minutes value. Now the same buttons, so this button and this button over here, will increase or decrease the value of minutes. Once we've set our minutes value, we press the mode button, and as you can see, we are back to the settings of our hour value. To implement settings or set our alarm number 1 time, press the adjust button once, and now our alarm number 1 is set to 12 o'clock and it's turned on. Again, by pressing the upper left button, you can shuffle it between on or off. So the procedure is exactly the same for all of the 5 alarms. When it comes to hourly time signal, it's easy and simple. Once you are at the hourly time signal, simply press the adjust button and the watch will turn on the hourly time signal, and it says it's on. So pressing the upper left button shuffles between hourly time signal on or off. Now, those are the basics of the alarm mode on this watch. Using the stopwatch, first of all, let's enter the stopwatch, and that is done by pressing this button from the standard timekeeping mode, pressing it twice. Now, The stopwatch measures the elapsed time in 1/100th of a second units for the first hour and in 1 second units after that for up to 24 hours. How to measure the elapsed time? Well, press this button over here to engage the stopwatch. Press the same button to stop it. Same button to resume it. And the same button to stop the value. Elapsed time is shown in 1/100th of a second units. Over here, those are the 1/100th of a second units. These are the minutes, the first two zeros, and these over here are seconds. After the first hour, you have your hours written over here. You have your minutes written over here, and the seconds are over here. So where are the 1/100th of a seconds in the first place? To reset the value, simply press the upper left button. How to measure the split time? Engage the stopwatch by pressing this button over here. Press the upper left button to split the time, and it says SPL. Same button, split release, and the lower right button to stop it. Upper left one to reset the value. How to time the first and second place finishers? Press the lower right button to start it. Press the upper left button, first finisher. Press the lower right button, second finisher. And split release of number 2, upper left one, you have your time. Again, pressing the same button, upper left one, to reset the value. Those are the basics of a stopwatch mode on this watch. The countdown timer. From the standard timekeeping mode, press the low mode button once, twice, 3 times, and we are in the countdown timer mode. How to engage the countdown timer? Well, press the lower right button and the watch has started to count down your time. Over here you have your hours and minutes value, and over here you have your seconds value. Press the same button to stop it, and the upper left one to reset the value. How to set your alarm time? Well, press and hold the upper left button until you hear the beep. And we are in the position of setting our the hours value. We can shuffle the hour value by pressing the upper or lower left buttons in increments from 0 to 24. Once we set our hour value, press the mode button and the flashing continues to minutes value. Again, pressing the upper right one or the lower right one shuffles the minutes value. Let's say I want to set it to 15 minutes, and it's set to 15. Press the mode button once again, and we are in the position of setting our seconds value. As you can see, by pressing the upper or lower right buttons, I can increase or decrease the value of seconds. This time I'm gonna leave it at 15 minutes sharp. To implement the settings, simply press the adjust button or the upper left one once again, and we have now set our countdown time. And those are the basics of the countdown timer on this watch. Adjusting the watch hands on the GM S2100 is done like this. From the standard timekeeping mode, press and hold the upper left button for at least 5 seconds and release the button when H set stops flashing and 2 zeros starts to flash on the digital screen. So press and hold, 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 and double beep, and we let it go. The 2 zeros are flashing on the digital screens. Now, the hour hand and the minute hand should align exactly at 12 o'clock. pressing the upper or lower right button, if the watch hands are not aligned, will align them correctly. So once you align them correctly, you press the upper left button and the watch hands should now align itself correctly. What that means? Well, that means that the digital time should correspond to the analog time and vice versa. And with that, we are done with this review and how-to tutorial video on the GM S2100. Thank you very much for watching, and once again, if you are into watch-related content, please subscribe. Thank you.